Hi there. Welcome to High Heels to Happy Feels, episode number 7. I'm Natalie,
I'm Stephanie.
and today we're going to be talking about the ritual steps to connect with your spirit guide and how to stay in the flow. So we're going to kick it right off. Stephanie, tell me what a spirit guide is.
Woohoo! The $25 million question. I I think spirit guides, personally, I think they're very different for everybody. Um, you know, depending upon how you were raised, what your traditions are, what your religious background is. I mean, I think that varies because it could be an angel, it could be an ancestor, it could be a guide that's assigned to you. You could have hundreds of different guides throughout your life, right? That are there to teach you different things and different processes
Hmm.
as you go. Um, the archangels, the masters, as you've mentioned, many times when we've talked. Um, I don't know. For me, I feel like mine are there for an assignment of some sort. I feel like there's one that's always been around potentially, but yeah, I don't know. How about you?
So I think that's probably true too. Depending on what I'm working on or like how I'm going to go about my day, I call different spiritual help in.
Hmm.
From source to ancestors to masters to archangels to my assigned team, the ones that I try to speak with at least on a daily basis. So yeah, all different kinds of groups. And I think you're right. Like it's truly about the belief system and what you believe
Right.
going to help
Right.
you identify who they are.
Yes. Yes. And I
Yep.
think what's really interesting is, and I think this is kind of the point of our topic today, right? Is how do we tap into those guides? Me and you, like, what are
Hmm.
we doing to tap in? Um, and making that connection. And then how do you kind of hold on to it so that when you're going throughout your day, you can keep having those conversations and, the grown-up version of talking to your imaginary friend. I mean, I know we've talked about that on a previous podcast where it's like, the whole movie out if for imaginary friend, which was darling, by the way. But if we weren't told that those didn't exist when we were children,
Hmm.
would we have maintained those relationships with those guides throughout our whole life? And for those that have the benefit of not being cynical or ever developing that cynicism and then coming back out of it, what's that like? But story for another day. Anyway, I digress. I usually do, but I just did it faster than normal today. Um, so let's talk about how we tap in.
Okay. Um, so I take a lot of steps during my day, but when I'm actually just gonna tap in, like after I take my son to school on the way home,
Hmm.
I will talk to my spirit guides. And my last set, like my 21-day journey was my focus. My focus ended up being trying to hear, feel, and see them physically because I get the knowing, like I'm clairvoyant, I understand that. And I have the mediumship stuff. But when I'm trying to speak directly to my guides, they don't necessarily speak back. Like they'll throw an image at me or I'll have a synchronicity that happens. So I just talk to them on the way home and like no one's talking back to me, but I know they're there because I can feel them.
Yeah.
So that's one of the biggest ways I tap in. I mean, I do things all day long to try to stay tapped in and stay in that flow, but that's my I mean, and I do that throughout the day, like on breaks when I walk outside, go sit in the sunshine for a little bit.
Right.
I talk to them, whether it's in my head or out loud. Often it's out loud. People might think I'm nuts, but I'm okay with that. How about you?
Similar. I mine because again, in terms of that, I hear, I feel, I know they're there, in terms of those clairs, but I don't actually hear them say, Stephanie, you need to do this, or hey, have you thought about this? It's more, oh, it's a little nudge or something that is just like, oh, okay, wrong path, wrong door. Thank you. And moving on. So, but it's very
Hmm.
clear. And there's been one image. It's funny when I was actually being attuned for, I don't remember which level of my Reiki. I think it was Reiki 1 and going through my attunement, I actually saw a face. And it was so intense and so amazing. And I'm like, how do you keep this? How do I go about doing this again? Then I realized it was for my attunement, right? It was for that moment and for a recognition
Mhm.
pattern in that. And it wasn't to happen. It's not an on demand. I don't just flip it on and change the channel and hang out with Peter or with Sarah or Hera. Um, they, yeah, but again, you just know. And it's funny or not funny because you and I, in prepping for this trip to California, for where Immersive Spirit's going to go to the Queen Mary and go to the Biltmore Hotel in California and do some paranormal investigations. And we pray a lot of crossings for a lot of these people, a lot of these souls. Um, you and I tapped in to try and align specifically with the Queen Mary. And we don't get the time, unfortunately, these days to just sit and tap in together like we did historically. And
Mhm.
that was amazing. And it was a reminder about why we practice our daily rituals, especially around grounding and clearing our space and protecting ourselves for sure. That was gigantic because it lingered for you specifically.
It's still here.
I know, still
Like
knocking
you like
stuff
talking
over.
about it, you're just inviting them.
I
Like
know. Don't bother her
they've
anymore.
already been throwing stuff at me. It's
It's crazy. But we
hmm
just were so connected. And it's not that I heard our guides all of a sudden say, "Oh, yep, you're here you are," or anything like that, but it was an image that we shared and then sitting in our space, right? Being meditative about that, right? And listening and just listening. And however that came through in whatever capacity, and it doesn't have to be auditory when we say listening. It could be a knowing, it could be a feeling, a sensation, or whatever. Um, but yeah, that was really intense for me. For me, I
Yeah.
talk to him in the mornings. I mean, I can be doing such mundane stuff as brushing my teeth and going, okay, this was a good opportunity. And in my head, I'm like, so what am I supposed to know for today? Okay. Oh, oh yeah,
Right.
those earrings. Okay, I'll go put those on. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, it's random.
Yeah, it is. And the knowing is ran like so I have specific times only because I have a very specific schedule that I follow all the time. But it's the like I don't hear them either, but I'll come home and feel like I need to write something down. And when I start writing, I just keep writing. So they trust that I trust my intuition.
Yeah.
So a lot of that, I'll like that day I woke up at 12:30 in the morning and I was like, we got to write this down. I don't wake up at 12:30, but somebody woke me up and we're going to write all of this down. And
Right.
it became something and I was like, I need to do something with this. So
Right.
they may not communicate on my schedule with me, but I'm keeping the conversation open by relying on them on a daily basis.
Yeah. And that was a good one because I remember getting an email after reading it the next morning
At
at
1:30
1:30
in
in
the
the
morning.
morning.
I was
And
so glad you weren't awake. You'd be
I'm
like
like, what in
crazy.
the hell was going on? My guides woke me up and they told me I'm supposed to do. I'm okay. Well, it's really good and your guides are spot on, so that's fantastic.
Let's roll with it. Let's go.
Hmm. Way to go on the advice guides. Woohoo!
Right?
Bravo. Bravo. So, you kind of mentioned that you've got your schedule.
Yeah.
And I know I'm just with the jobs that we do in our daily lives and things that are happening, we both have incredibly wild schedules. How do you keep it a priority to stay tapped in or to know that you are focused enough? I shouldn't even say that because you can't stay tapped in 24/7, right?
No.
There are things that just automatically will block. You're on a Zoom call, you're doing something else and whatever it might be, and you're not in that moment listening. I don't know. How do you keep your focus so you know at any time you can tap in and those messages can come through?
So it's kind of funny that you say that because even like when I'm on calls with clients, and I'm sorry if any of the corporate clients are listening to this, but when I'm not talking, when I'm taking a break and letting conversation happen, um, I take a quick beat and I'm like, you guys still here? So I have spirit brain really bad. Like I don't remember anything anymore. I have to write everything down just to keep it straight. And I used to be like the the person that knew and kept it all in her mind.
Right?
Not anymore because I go so yeah. Anyway,
Right?
um,
Spirit clutter plus being in our 50s, you know. Not that we don't
right.
look fabulous, but yeah, but we're in our 50s and the fact is shit happens. Some things get in the way of the brain power some days.
For real. It's funny. After I did one of our socials today, I went out to make sure it had posted, and there was a definition out there. I think I kept it on my phone, but like there's a word for people who like change direction later in life and become who they really are, and especially around spirituality. So I'll look at that and well, I'll just look at
Oh,
it and see if I saved it now.
yeah. I'm
Because I
curious.
wanted to mention it to you. Yeah, I did save it. Um, metanoia. It's a noun that means a transformative change of heart, especially a spiritual conversion. It can also refer to a fundamental change in character or outlook. The word comes from ancient Greek word metanoia, which means changing one's mind.
I like
Hmm.
it.
Isn't that interesting? And I happened to run across that on social media today, so clearly there it
Supposed
is.
to. Yep, there it is.
There
And
it
it
is.
I like metanoia
Me too.
because no one else will get it that in the regular smaller circles, right? So it's
Hmm.
just one of those, no, I have metanoia. Google it.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know, is that paranoia? Is that like what do you have going
Right?
on?
No, you have paranoia. I have metanoia. There's
I have
totally
metanoia. I am making a change because I've figured out who I am or who I want to be anyway.
right? Who are we going to be when we grow up? Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. We're there. We're there.
Yeah,
Yay.
exactly. And
Yay.
so, anyway, to your point, I take the little beats that I have to,
Yeah.
like, but I consciously think about that throughout the day. Like, if when your mind wanders, I kind of
Hmm.
bring it back to, okay, my mind's wandering. I've got a minute. So then I take that beat and connect with my spirit guides. I'm like, hey, I'm still here. I know you guys are still here too. Thank you for supporting me. Some type of gratitude or just some type of connection that
Yeah.
they can feel my honesty and my want for the love of my life.
Yes.
And I don't mean like some guy. I mean like the love, my life. I love my life
Right.
and that I
That
appreciate that.
your feeling of connection beyond
Mhm.
just what we want to do for business and helping with others and doing that, but like just being in love with you.
Right. Like 3 or 4 years ago when you and I used to get spiritual and be together and like do spiritual things and like really dig in. While I miss those days, we're awfully busy and we do a lot for Immersive Spirit and a lot for the clients there and a lot for the clients at the other. And um, so we just don't get that time anymore. So when
Yeah.
I find that time and I want that feeling, I make sure I connect with my spirit team and share with them somehow how important that was to me and how I appreciated it and how I still feel that way. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say, tapping in this last week just was amazing. Is such a it's such a gift when we can do that together and when we get to do coaching together for certain customers that are like, hey, we want you both and okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. And I love those opportunities because I think there's one of our gals that has told us, but you guys don't quit feeding the information and feeding off of each other because it's good stuff, right? We just kind of feed off of each other really well. So yeah.
That's why we created a podcast.
Right. In a business and just we're like, let's go with it. Woo,
Let's do
this is
this.
fun. Yep. How do you
Uh,
keep it all in line, right? So, I mean, I think about like in the morning, one thing you and I do because you were doing this and I'm like, genius, I love it. So when we wake up in the morning, it's feet on the ground, business is open, giving it to our guides and
mhm.
flat out, however you flip that sign and saying, immersive spirit is here and whoever's guides whoever has people that might need that we can help in some way, we're open and
Mhm.
please bring them our direction or share and see if we'd be a connection for them or of use to them in some other capacity. But there's more to it than that, and I know like with the 21-day journey that you've put together on our site, which is awesome, like you use word activation. Talk a
Mhm.
little bit about what you're using and how that's helped.
Yeah, so And 21 Day Journey is free, by the way, in case
Yes.
anybody wants to go check it out.
Yeah.
Totally no strings attached. Anyway, I'm not going to be salesy here. Sorry. Okay. So yeah, word activation. So when I do the 21 Day Journey, I typically do it specifically right before the autumnal equinox or around that time.
Mhm.
And when I do a yearly reset like that, I want to make sure the words that I'm saying still matter. So there's so many different things. Like I have multiple words. I use awake, I use sleep or going to bed or lights out. All three of those I kind of use interchangeably. I use ghost when I'm scared. I use the word work. And what those really mean behind it is when we were talking about all of those different types of spirit guides when we first opened the show,
Yeah.
I call in different aspects for all of that different work. Like Ghost, I'm definitely going to call in the Archangel Michael because he's a protector.
Right.
When I'm doing readings or I need to communicate something clearly, I'm going to call in the Archangel Gabriel. So I have like very set specific things. So when I get up in the morning and I put my feet on the ground, after I've, grounded and cleared and protected the space and opened the sign, um, I touch ground and I'm like awake. And awake means I'm calling in the spirit team that I've aligned with that word. And so my word activation, I really, during the 21 day, I say, I call in all of those spirits again and remind them that, yes, this truly is the word and this is truly what it means. And it's worked for years. So this is the fourth year I've done the 21 day journey, which this is the first year we've actually written it down and because we thought it
Right.
might be useful for others. Um, so yeah, this is the fourth year I've redone the words and it makes sense for me.
Yeah. And 21 days, it's 21 days to create a habit.
Mhm.
So, by doing that, it makes it habitual to us. It makes it habitual to our team. It makes it habitual to anybody, anything in that space to understand game on. That's the word. Or night night, she's out. No messing with borders are up. Everything's there. It's time to go to sleep. So, yeah.
Right,
And I'll be
exactly.
starting mine. I know I threatened it, but I've got, I think tomorrow is probably my start date just because my goal is basically on Samhain to, Halloween. Ta-da! That's kind of it. And as I go into November, um, having those whole fresh set of tools. Sorry, I just bumped my mic, so it's probably
Yeah, it's
something
fine. I
loud.
didn't even hear it.
Boom! Oh, good.
You didn't lean over
Ah,
and talk like this. No, just
right?
kidding.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Um, so the word activation, what
Mhm.
about another thing you mentioned to me? Because I love the word activation. And I've got certain trigger words. I kind of think about it when you were talking about the word activation, how we're always, you got Alexa in the house or Siri on your phone or whatever you're using, and they light up. It's the same thing.
Yep, exactly.
You're kind of going, there's an expectation with that word of what's going to happen next. And so you've set this principle of saying awake, and that means these guides are present.
Mhm.
This is what's happening with my day. Here's where I'm at right now. Go and work. And here's what, yeah, I love it. I just think that's so cool.
Well,
Um,
because we have to be efficient
yeah,
in our days. And my day is very packed. I love my day. I love how my world works. And that really helps me be efficient, especially when I hit the snooze maybe once or twice. I
at
gotta
least.
catch up.
Yep. All right. So back to snooze. What about your dreams? I think you're capturing your dreams too. And I think there's some important concepts behind that, right? Journaling about those. Because the
Mhm.
fact is, well, I've always been an incredibly active dreamer. I dream every night. I dream in color. I will normally dream full movies or a short story narrative of one. And they're always interesting. There's always something that, well, that was colorful. What are you going to do with that kind of thing? Which is where kind of some of my interpretation and stuff for people for dreams came from. But you
Mhm.
actually took it up a notch and started actually creating a journal.
Yep.
Has that
Yep.
helped?
It's starting to help. So I've recently kind of aligned it to our dictionary items that we create because the more I think about my dreams, the more like if you go to interpretation sites, you can get kind of a general interpretation. They may give you a warm fuzzy or something that you resonate with.
Hmm.
But what your dreams really are images that your spirit guides or your spirit team or your mind understand that you will interpret in a specific way. So if
Right.
you step back and you take a look at the things that were in that room with you, or you take a look at the people, maybe it's an ex-boyfriend or what have you, an ex-friend, and it's not really that ex-friend, it's what they represented to you.
Hmm.
So like if they were a kind and compassionate person, so you saw kind and compassionate. So like really interpreting your dreams down on a personal level. And journaling has helped me kind of identify maybe some stuff that I'm trying to get through, to work through, as we all do when we dream. And
Right.
I don't remember my dreams very much, so I have to set intentions at night with my team. Like I really want to remember it. And I've got like 3 to 4 seconds to get it down, whether I'm speaking it or whether I journal about it because I also use an app to help me record through the night, which can sometimes be a little scary to re-listen to in the morning. But if I say anything at night, but certainly when I wake up in the morning, it's going to capture everything I say. So if I'm sitting up and I was like, okay, I was in a house that had stairs and I get it all out before my feet even touch the floor to say awake, like I've got this little pattern going. It's kind of crazy, actually, now that I say it out loud, but
Yeah, but it works.
it
I mean, it
works for
works
me.
for you, right? And for me, it's the dreams. Some of them I'm like, is that one worth writing? No. Others, I go, okay, hold on to that for a little bit. Go get some coffee. And then I find my dream journal and then I write because I know it's going to take me 7 pages to write it all down. And I don't feel like writing that much, right? And I don't feel
Hmm.
like talking that much. But the ones that are really worthy of it, that I'm going, all right, well, that one was really off the charts. I got to write that one down or I got to share it with somebody really quick. Um, but one thing that dreams have really helped me do, and I think, like you said, a lot of it is our subconscious, our mind, our higher self, spirit, our spirit team working to help you work through things. So I know in certain dreams, even one I had last night, it was very clear to me this morning that it had nothing to do with the person involved. It had everything to do with me historically and shadow work and things that I needed to address and say out loud about myself to be free
Hmm.
of that so that this person quits coming back into my dreams. Um, because that's the only way it's going to make it stop is
Right. Something you got
acknowledge
to deal with.
yeah. And for me, that's shadow work in this case, right? Some of those things are celebratory, and you say, oh, this is amazing. And I'm so excited about this opportunity. And um, I love this. I saw all these crazy flowers and this giant house, and it's a field of wonderfulness and great. Others,
Right.
you're thinking, oh, that was my past. And why is that person in it? And then I didn't where is this headed? It's not like you want to go back to what that was. And when
Right.
you really sit and think about it and spend some time with it, you're like, yeah, that's reflection. That's some mirror or some shadow work or some of those things that need to be done. So,
I think the important thing after you start doing like dream work, especially if you have predictive dreams, which I really don't, but I think those are pretty awesome, um, is to make sure you come out of it feeling positive, feeling energized, feeling excited
yeah.
just about being alive. I mean,
Yeah.
even if it was a nightmare and it was scary, and just get it down and understand it's just a message. It's
Yes.
just a message for you.
Yes. And
Yeah.
it honestly takes me right into my gratitudes in the morning because it's
Hmm.
one of those I literally wake up and go, "Oh, thank you, God. That was a dream."
For
you
sure.
know, and you
Yeah.
go, yes, thank you, thank you. I get it. Message received. I've got some work to do. Check, check, check. But I'm very, very grateful in this moment that that was just a dream and just a reminder of past incidences or past whatever it might be in the case of last night. And other times it's a foretelling. It's something where you say, hmm, when is that? Or what is that? And is that something I should be watching for now or later? But either way, you write it down. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And be just excited about being alive and like try to stay in a positive vibe because it can change the way you flow and the
Yeah.
way you connect with your spirit team for sure.
Yeah. And
No.
especially for those that don't believe that they dream all the time. Almost everybody dreams. It's just most people don't remember or haven't gotten in the practice of remembering and setting themselves up by writing it down or by consciously making that statement that they want to be woken up in the middle of a dream so that it's something they write down and remember or whatever that is. But I mean, because I've dreamed like that my whole life, as you know, but
Right.
it
Your
takes some
namesake
training.
does too.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, he does. But
He's,
it takes
he tells me some stories. Anyway,
right? And
sorry.
you just, I can, that's what I love talking to my nephew about because, oh my gosh, him and I can compare dreams like you're talking about Oscar nominated
Crazy. Yeah.
bizarre films that are just off the charts. Yeah. Um, but for others, it takes more training to get to that. But it's the same theory. You're tapping in. You're whether you're allowing yourself to kind of open your process at
Mhm.
night and just say, "Hey, I give permission for some of these dreams to come through and just to let me know what it is I should be working on." Other times we are just so dead tired that yeah, you're gonna sleep and you're not
Right.
gonna
You're
remember
just,
squat.
yeah.
And that's just how it is. Yeah.
You mentioned a really good point though, when you're like, so wake me up so I can write it down, or, something. So you need to pay attention. Like when you have to get up and go to the bathroom, that's
Hmm.
probably no accident. Like pay attention why it doesn't matter why you got up, but
You're up.
you asked to wake up.
Yep.
So don't be so tired that you can't just jot a quick note about what
Right.
your dream's about.
Right. I'll tell
Yeah.
you my you know this about me, but I keep a dry erase marker in my bathroom.
Mhm.
And if something is in the middle of the night, it's I write it on the mirror because out of brain, it's I go right back to sleep, right? Off mind. It's done. So whether it's a to-do item that has hit me on a list or whether it's a weird dream that I just write three bullets for so that it kind of refreshes my head in the morning, like what was I dreaming about? And then it kind of comes back.
Mhm.
Yes, and they're darn handy for that. So if you don't have a bathroom in your room, keep a dry erase maker or marker by your bed to write on a window. Um,
Or
you know,
post-it notes.
post-it notes, right? Something. The dry erase for me is so I can write big and not have to try and wake up all the way because I don't want to focus on it. It's just no, scribbled a note and move on. Yeah, go on.
Well, and it's great to read in the morning. You're like, what, what did
I
I
have
write?
no idea what I wrote, and
No
Shane,
idea what
yeah,
that means.
yeah, Shane's looking at me like, uh, okay, okay, yeah, moving on. I
That's
don't
good
know.
stuff.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean and what that gibberish is. I'm like, me either, but it'll come to me. So yeah, but yeah, it's there. It's there. Yeah.
Right. We'll bring you back.
Yep. Yes. And
And so
gratitude.
after your gratitudes,
Hmm.
um, do you do anything particular?
So as you know, I love our little organizer thing that we put together, and I've got some other planner pages now, so I think I'm gonna revamp it. But I do my pull, and I know you do yours as well. Now we have our daily card that we pull for our followers and listeners that is out on the social feeds, but I do a daily card for myself every day. And I'll tell you what, it's not like I'm just so devout to one deck that I'll just stay there. Some days
Mhm.
I'm like, not feeling that one, and I'll come into my space and grab a different deck. And other days I'll use the same deck for a week. So it's whatever's calling to me that morning that I'm like, do I want words on the card? Do I want just a picture on the card? Because I've got a couple of different decks that have no words, no book, no interpretation. So it's completely intuitive. And some mornings that's my jam because I need to just look at it. This morning it was a tarot card, right?
Right.
Yesterday it was a wordless oracle deck, and it was beautiful. Yeah, yeah. I know you do the same, right? You're
I
still doing
do,
your daily,
but I
but I
do
know you do the daily reading though a lot more than I do too.
well that but I also after I do my gratitudes and the dream journal and all of word activation, all of that, I'll do a quick meditation and it's more kind of a prayer.
Mm,
And it's only because it's become ritualistic to me because
yeah.
out in the social world, now that you and I are out as mediums and psychics,
Yeah.
it hasn't been comfortable. And feedback from some people, just
Trolls.
comments that are made, and it makes me feel bad, and it makes me sometimes wonder, like, why did we do this?
Hmm.
but then I meditate every morning and I'm like I'm doing this because I'm gonna help people and I'm gonna help spirit and I am meant to do this. This is why this is on my path.
right?
So I kind of like meditate on a faith speech, you know, like I
Huh?
am vibrating high and this is absolutely my life and it's okay to be different and it's okay for people to not like me or to make a judgment.
Yeah.
I have to let that go. So I have I don't know how long it takes me. It's just a few minutes, but it's just like duck off the water, water off the duck back, relax, calm down. You are
Yeah.
who you are. And yeah, affirmation almost, I guess.
Yeah, it's an affirmation, it's your own personal mantra, right? So
Yeah.
you can do kind of that, and I think it's a Zen meditation that we were looking at. That's a one word, or maybe that's not it. Anyway, um, or you can just be chanting kind of that same word and that gets you in that flow. But I'm more like you. I've got kind of that mindfulness where I'm sitting and thinking about what is in that moment and trying to communicate that. Um, and it's
Hmm.
a conversation. I have been bad about my meditation in the morning, but there's other times, and specifically when I'm going to bed at night, that I will spend time laying eyes closed, going, don't fall asleep yet. I, as much as I want to, lay here with your eyes closed and just, what do I got? What do I need to know? What is there something else before I, go to bed? Um, but definitely the
Yeah.
affirmations and those mantras to ourselves, reminding us that it's not about the trolls. It's not about the naysayers. Bless
Well,
them.
and it's not even about the money. It's not like we didn't do this because we thought it was going to be fun. Like
Right.
this, coming out in your 50s is not like it's not comfortable. And I'm just every day I work on trying to get comfortable. And it really is affirmations because then I do my daily card pull
Right.
or
It's
whatever
unnerving.
divination I wanted. Yeah, it's unnerving. That's
It's
exactly
very
right.
unnerving because the more people you talk to about it, the more relaxed I am. So as I talk to my hairdresser or as I talk to, the banker when we were setting up bank accounts for the business and some of those things that you're like, oh, they're gonna think I'm Looney Tunes, but here we go. Right? And here, here it goes.
That
Here
happened
goes.
to me just last night when I was getting our shirts printed for the trip.
Yeah.
So the guy that's printing them, he finds the logo online because I had a copy of the logo and then I had you send me one and then he
Oh,
found the other one.
right.
Super nice guy. And at the like near the end, actually it was before he printed them and I walked away for like 15 minutes and I came back. But he's like, "Well, what do you guys do?" And I said, "Okay, so we're psychic mediums." And he looked at me and he's like, cool. And I could tell, like,
Tuned off.
right, he was like spinning in his head, going, "Oh, I think she's a little bit weird." But it was so funny because I came back 15 minutes later to pick up what I had printed. And he was kind of excited because he's really reasonable, did a really good job. So I was really appreciative. And he's like, "Well, yeah, grab my number." And so I was getting his number from him. And I said, I just want to thank you for not saying, well, you should already know my number because you're psychic. Because I looked at him, I said, because that's not really how it works. And he just laughed and he thought, it was just like kind of refreshing. He didn't say anything mean. He still gave me his number
Right.
when there's other people that haven't been nice and like they just want me away from them as quickly as possible. So anyway, it was a good interaction.
Being open makes people uncomfortable.
It does indeed.
And
Indeed. Yeah.
it makes me feel for those that have come out about anything in their life.
Hmm.
And I'm not comparing myself in any way, shape, or form to LGBTQ
No.
plus communities or to anyone or that's anyone that's had to deal with minority beyond being a woman. Um,
Anything that's taboo in your culture
right, but there's
that
an
you had to drive against
alternative,
because of who
and
you
that's
really are.
right. And
Yeah.
I think it's part the Scorpio in me that I'm just like, oh yeah, you don't like it? Well, how about kissing my ass? Because I don't like you either. No, and I don't, you know what I mean? I don't say
I
that.
know you
That-
don't mean that.
That's not what I mean, but
I know you're representing the Scorpio thing, but
but it's
yeah,
just kind of
that's
like, whatever, just because you just don't get it, right? But you are so soft and such an empath, and it is so, for me, I get hostile and I want to go battle the trolls and I want to respond to all of them. And instead, I block and delete, and I block and delete and block and delete. And then I'm like, because I really want to go on their site and
Right.
tell them, do you even know what we do? Do you understand? And then the little witchy side in me is like, we could turn you into it.
Yeah, no, we don't do those kind of spells. We haven't in years. Like
I
that was us in our
know I
20s,
I
not in
have
our
never
50s.
done the dark and I've never hexed. I've never done that. But in the back of your mind, that
I've
little
wished it a couple
joke,
times. I've never actually done a ritual on
right?
anybody.
That little
No.
joke that's back there that they assume that this is who you are. You're like, oh, I'll show you who I am. Then you
Wait till
want to,
you find hair on my mantle in a jar.
right? Hold my beer and watch this. Good God.
No, seriously, people, we don't behave. That's just we've never been like that. I've
No.
had thoughts, but never actually did anything.
Anybody who says they haven't had thoughts,
I don't know, intrusive
whether
thoughts.
ritual
Everybody
or
has
not,
them daily.
yes, right? If you flip your finger off at somebody driving down the road, you've had those thoughts. Sorry, folks. That's one, right?
Yeah, we just have a different way of responding.
Right. In this case, when it's spiritual like this, you're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, no. Okay.
And then you're going, okay, so I'm going to hold my amethyst and I'm going to practice love, 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 love,
We
love.
may be sharing a little too much right now.
No, we're transparent. That's
We are
the
very
word.
transparent. Okay, so the daily, yes. So I do my little affirmations. So I don't know if I really want to call it a man or a meditation. I mean,
Yep.
um, and then I do the daily card pull, or I look at
Uh-huh.
my horoscope for the day, or I look at the moon apps, or however, just so I can start feeling the energy of the day and start kind of letting it in.
Yeah.
And then I'll journal on it, or I will meditate specifically, like my mindful meditation for the 21-day journey. I
Hmm.
was doing a lot of mindful meditation because, again, I was trying to see, hear, feel, be a part of the spiritual team in a different way rather than
Right.
just knowing. And so when you sit in mindfulness, so I sit there with my eyes open and try to hear additional things, and it's really going well. But that's part of that too. So it's kind of an affirmation, and then my journal pull to tell me the energy of the day, and then kind of meditate on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of a whole day thing, right? I mean, you've got how we wake up in the morning, really just getting yourself ready right away with your word. Um, or grounding the way, because I'll ground and say certain things. And it's that mantra. And it's an affirmation. It's a speech that you're making to the universe about the day ahead of you and owning that day and celebrating it with the gratitudes, with the journaling, with the um even your pull, right? When you're pulling your card, it's
Yep.
there's a lot of times for me, I'll write down intentional questions. Sometimes it's what do I need to know today? Other days it's okay, I'm pondering this. And that's what I put to the team, and that's what I put out there. And then I get my card and go, of course.
And then you journal on it and go, damn it.
I know, right? What do you mean I didn't win the Powerball? All right, no, but it's just one of those that you just kind of, okay, I don't have the winning lotto numbers. Uh, but it's all
On your path right
intentional.
now.
But
Sorry.
it's right. No, your path is to work and to work to help others. And okay. Um,
Yep.
but your words, the words matter. The intent matters. It's the intent behind the word and setting those intentions. And that is really how we're staying tapped in
Mhm.
because we're saying those things that are keeping us in the moment and keeping us present. And whether it is holding crystals, whether it is that word, whether it is something about your day that is intentionally
Mhm.
keeping us in that moment and keeping us so that if things get weird, you can just kind of go, okay, settle down. What do I need to
Yep.
know right now? What do I need to know? And, like you've got the words that you've set for yourself during midday, for example, where you've got
Work.
work. That's
Yep.
your midday word. Yeah. Yeah. So you know that that's work, but you've also got bed, right? So it's like going to bed and
Yep.
that's your turn off switch. That's like day done. Um, But there's other things we do. I mean, we tend to declutter our space. And by that I don't just mean, you pick up your desk or your kitchen or put things away or make your bed. Some of those things, yes, definitely help your day flow better if you do them to start, but it's decluttering your space around you, right? Around your head. around your body and really getting and sitting with those moments. Because if you feel that energy around you and you know your guides are there, just acknowledging that you know that they are there, that's plenty. They'll
Well,
let
and
you know.
when you're decluttering, though, you're really taking action
Yeah,
to keep your mind clear so you can hear them, so you can pay attention. So you are being mindful. Like right
great
now, I'm
point.
working on my bathroom.
Right.
So in my declutter, like when I go in to brush my teeth and take a shower, I'll grab three things off the, because we just buy more stuff thinking this is going to be the miracle cure,
Right.
or
Here's
this
the
is the
next
miracle
beauty.
makeup, or this is
This
the miracle
lotion's gonna get
cleanser.
rid of the spots. Yay. Woo.
Right. And so currently I have three bags sitting in my bathroom because that's the area I'm working on. And I will not move on to another area until I'm done.
Uh-huh.
That's my commitment to myself. So I'm saying it out loud. Um, but I go in there and I'll take like two or three things off the shelf because I don't have time to stand in there for 30, 40 an hour, however long it would take me to get through everything that sits in my bathroom. So I'll
Right.
just grab two or three items, look at the expiration date, look if it's sealed or not, and identify, does this make me feel good? Do I use it? Is there any reason I should keep it? So it's either going to go in like the safe house donations, the trash,
Mhm.
or it's going to sit on my shelf and I'm going to use it.
Yep.
And that's slowly getting my bathroom to a reasonable, because I everybody has too much product.
Oh,
We don't need that. Right. And
no.
right now that's part of my ritual.
Oh, I have so much and I bought more and I'm going, what was I
I
thinking?
know that's
Me
the
and my
problem
damn
is I want to
steals and
fill the
deals.
space back up.
Right? Here comes the GMA thing again. But me and my damn steals and deals. And anyway, I seriously had this one man. I mean, I looked at this mascara and I'm like, oh, it's a great deal and I'll try it. And I thought, I also have that one and that one, and that one was scent free. And I seriously tried it twice and I'm like, and I kept putting it away because it's brand new.
Right.
And I looked at it the other day and I said, I don't like it. Throw it away. So I tossed it. It's gone. Why am I keeping something that I don't like?
Well, that's
Yes,
like,
I paid for it. Yes, it's brand new. Get over it. If it were brand new clothes, different. Totally goes to donation. I cannot donate a bottle of mascara. So
no.
I'm not going to use it. I don't like it. I'm going to throw it away.
When we used to travel a lot early on in our corporate careers, I would take all the shampoo bottles and the conditioners because my original thing was being a domestic violence counselor. So I was very involved in that community. And I would take all the shampoo bottles and the soaps and the lotions
Yep.
and I'd bag
Same
them
thing.
because
Mhm.
this is what our mom did. And I was like, that's a fantastic idea. And I would take it to a safe house. And so
Take it to a shelter.
they're unopened. So they're totally, hey, that's hygiene. That's great. Thank you. So now I travel maybe two or three times a year
Hmm.
and I still do that. And now I'm like, well, I'll just put them in the guest bathroom in case somebody doesn't have something.
Right.
Whatever. Like, take them all out and donate them and quit collecting them from hotels because no one ever uses them at my house.
Well, no, you need to have more guests because the fact is, I put all those things out, and I'll tell you what, we finally blew through all of them.
Did
All
you
the
really?
Now I cannot get rid of. We even blew through all the little bars of soap because when they come, it's like, well, that previous company used that soap, so you toss that one out, put out the next one. So yeah, it's all gone. Fine.
Yeah, and then maybe that's what I need to. Well, I put it out when you guys are down and you
Yeah, I
never use
know. Oh, well, it's because there's nice. Well, we normally bring our own because we're there for 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah.
them. Right.
So
Okay. So anyway, sorry, I digress again.
no, all good. But yeah, it's decluttering. It's
It
decluttering.
is.
It's for me, one of the things I've been working on, I think everybody knows the last few months is decluttering and organization. That's kind of my lunar word from our other freebie. Um, is around organization and
Mhm.
declutter and how do I do that better? So it's organizing my space by cleaning up my space. And even if I just throw away one thing a day, one thing, I'm good with that. And it
Yeah.
goes in this box, it goes in this box, or it goes in the big round file, right? Whatever, but it's clearing space. It's making space for me, not for
Mhm.
me to buy something else, which I have to say out loud
Because I'm not gonna do
because
it.
I'm gonna buy something else. But no, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, my
Yeah,
dog will.
so
Yeah,
for people who want to learn how to declutter, or for people
don't
who
ask
want to
me.
learn how to set intentions, we have some really good freebies actually out there. But
Yeah, we
anyway,
do. We
We're
do.
gonna move on.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
okay. After I do my decluttering, I'll review my list for the day and make sure like there's a thing that my son needs to do, or there's a place that my mom needs to go, or something that I
Yep.
need to do outside of my normal schedule. And then I will start my normal schedule by saying work, which in my world switches my team around a little bit. So if this is work during the week, it's definitely going to be corporate. So it's more of a protection, an ironclad protection around my desk so I can get things done.
Hmm.
But if it's like during the weekends and we're doing a real estate clearing because the energy of the house is off and a realtor is called, or if we're going like haunted investigation like we are to California next week,
Right.
that's going to be ghost. So it's not work, it's ghost.
Right.
And that means that it's a little on the scarier side, and I'm calling in things that will protect me and make me feel powerful and can help me communicate to the spiritual realm. And so it kind of calls in a different team. So I use both of those
Yes.
words.
Yes. Agreed. And you journal at night, right? I mean, I was talking about
I
how I
do.
journal during the day, or whenever it's calls to me,
Hmm.
because mine's really random. You're so much more organized about that, but you journal in the evening.
It's because I'm very ritualistic about it now. Like I love my day. I love how it works. So,
It
oh,
flows.
and you, okay. So before I journal at night though, like if when I get up during the day, because I have reclaimed some of my time,
Yeah.
I will go down to the kitchen, clean cabinets, do whatever, like just do more decluttering cleaning because
Oh,
I get
that's
that
part
time
of your
back on the
midday,
weekend.
right? Because that's part
Yes.
of your that's part of your 21 day
Yep.
and
And I'm
what you
keeping it.
got there so that it's because it worked because taking that break it gave you the time back for other times later. Yeah, it's
Right.
kind of
Because then
like
I get
using
to
your
do
lunch
things
break
I
to do.
want.
Yeah,
Right. Right. So if
right.
I clean the toilet during my lunch break, because I never ate anyway, I would eat at the desk and work, 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 work. And I was like, no, I'm taking this hour back and I'm going to go
Clean bathroom.
clean the bathroom, vacuum the house. So then I don't have it on the weekend.
Yeah.
And it has really been fantastic. Like it makes me feel, and of course during that time, because again, it's very ritualistic. So I start talking to my spirit guides
Yeah,
because I'm
because
like, look,
it's
guys,
very
I'm
zen.
decluttering. I'm taking time.
Exactly. It's like washing dishes. I mean, you're in that moment. It's the momentum is all consistent, and that is a meditative thing. If you're
It is.
vacuuming, it's back and forth doing the same thing, right? So it's just, it's a mantra of its own. And like you said, it becomes very ritual to just like a ritual would be, or,
Yeah.
because you're setting space and you know exactly what you're doing and you know the energy you're working with. And yeah, yeah,
The
that's.
one thing I would like to add though is like really good meal planning. So when I'm done with my cleaning or whatever, I can grab a snack and still eat it at the desk because oftentimes I come back to meetings that I just need to be a part of or listen to, and I can eat and listen to the meeting. So something that's more healthy than grabbing another soda or, you know, a bologna sandwich or whatever I happen to
Right,
grab on the way back.
right.
So meal planning, I think, would be really, really good. That'd reclaim some, maybe not time, but some health. I don't know. But when I do go back to
Some
work, I
sanity.
work again. Yeah, sanity.
Yeah.
Sanity is absolutely true.
Yeah. And meal planning was one that was big for me. Um, I think it was this latest lunar cycle was that was part of my organization was
Mhm.
making sure that I sat with Shane and said, okay, let's do some meal planning together. So we're not doing the same thing over and over again. Because you go into that repetitive, I don't know, I didn't cook anything. I mean, we work all day. We're working two jobs basically, and he works all
Right.
day. He works very hard. The last thing we want to do at night. And so pretty soon you're like, okay, are we getting Chinese food? Are we going to throw a pizza in?
Gosh, yeah.
Tomato soup and grilled cheese because it's easy.
Yeah, the
Okay.
easy stuff, the stuff you're used to making, the stuff you have
The
staples
easy
for.
comfort fall foods,
Right.
right? That are easy, that are warming, that are filling. And you're like, yeah, we probably could have had salmon and some asparagus tonight. Hmm.
Right. Rather than chili.
Right? Rather than chili. Yeah.
Right.
Not that I don't love my chili,
And
but yeah.
chili's actually pretty healthy, but still. But okay, anyway, when I go back to work, I say work again because
Uh-huh.
that I create that boundary all the time
Yes.
because I've talked to my spirit team while I've been out and about. So then I'm
Yeah.
back at work for quite a few hours. But then I
Yep.
do evening journaling too.
Yeah. Just to kind of tie it all together. And then as you're doing evening journaling, So I will sometimes journal in the evening. A lot of times I do mine in the morning as part of my manifestation ritual that I'm working through, or writing my gratitudes, or within our little planner, it's got, what am I doing this morning to get in the groove? What am I doing tonight before I lights off? So I've written that down ahead of time to kind of say, here's how I'm stepping through my day. Here's
Mhm.
what I know I want to accomplish before I go to bed. Um, and it's always, it can a lot of times be best laid plans. Life goes sideways. But I've set myself up for some intense and put it out to the universe and said something to spirit in terms of that when I'm working with my guides and spirit to say, here's kind of what I want to accomplish and where I see going today. Yeah. And
Right.
so the journaling part of it, I mean, the other night, it's funny that you were talking about this. I won't journal as often, like just sit in pages and pages of just kind of diary style journal. And
Hmm.
I noticed the last time I journaled, so when I journaled, it was moon in Capricorn. No, moon in Sag. So it was like a
Yeah.
couple of nights ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
So moon was in Sagittarius. And when I looked at the previous entry, it was last month when the moon was in Sagittarius, waxing crescent both times.
Oh, there's some to be said for did you journal on that? Because there's some to be said for that.
Exactly. I'm like, interesting, waxing crescent in Sagittarius. Hmm.
Hmm.
So
That's
I'm just gonna let
interesting.
it call to me. I can't think about, is all of a sudden gonna be it'll be waxing crescent and Sag next month, and I'm gonna all of a sudden go, oh, I have to journal. No, no,
Right.
it's not about that. But I mean, those longer journaling ones beyond the manifestation, the gratitudes, the how am I getting in the flow kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
anyway,
there's journaling to journal. Like my morning journal is about the energy of the day, and my evening
right.
journal is really, I call it coming to Jesus, because
Yep.
Jesus is one of the masters. And
Yes, he
because of
is.
my belief system and the way I was raised, that's the master that I'm writing to at that point. It could be Buddha, Allah,
Right.
all of those things. Actually, I don't know how to associate those correctly, so sorry if I'm wrong. Um, but anyway, so it's like my coming to Jesus, like, what did you do today? How did you accomplish what you were trying to do? And I know he's not in judgment of me, but it's like holding myself to account.
Right. It's an
So it's
accountability check.
yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Like what did you really do to stay spiritual? What did you do to stay connected to me or any of your spirit team? Not necessarily
Yes. Not
just Jesus.
necessarily one of the, whether it's your spirit guides, whether it's spirit, great spirit. I love talking to great spirit. That is,
Yeah.
I mean, I can see it, I can visualize that. And um it doesn't matter.
No.
It's the accountability. Even good weight loss programs have accountability. Good bosses will be accountable, to their employees, and vice versa. The employees will be accountable to them. It's being accountable to say, I showed up, I did this, this, and this from my day. And what else do I need to know? Did I
Right.
did I miss anything important that I meant to accomplish? Because sometimes it's just going to be like, hey, did you remember to go hug your kid? Did you, and
Yeah.
I know you've hugged them a million times, but did you remember to just do this? And, oh, no, I didn't. Thank you.
Well, yeah, and like my feelings throughout the day. Like I
Yeah.
cried over this, or I did a reading and I felt like this, and I really need just to be a little cathartic. So I write it down, and I know that
Yeah.
I'm supported in that moment by
Yes.
probably my entire spirit team, but I call it just coming to Jesus.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Right. Even when I write my manifestation mornings, sometimes it's like, thank you, Spirit. Others, it's like, thank you, Great Spirit. Other times it's
Right.
like, thank you, God. And you're like, okay, I don't know. I don't know.
But the thing is okay, so we're going to Haunted California. We're doing that next week.
Yes.
um with because I've been so ritualistic about, especially it started with the 21-day journey. I mean, I was pretty ritualistic before it, but now I have like these things inserted in time. And so my spirit team's going to take note when things are off.
Oh yeah.
I will I just feel very supported. Even with the things that have come to the house that have been throwing things at me. I'm like, yeah, I'm okay.
Yep.
I'm okay. I'm fine.
And we do have those rituals that we practice personally in place around crystals and around placements of those
Oh, for
stones
sure.
and sage and the selenite and just certain, I mean, yes, I know it's crystal, but it's a different kind of power. So looking at all of those things and knowing that we're also going to be going into a full moon as
No,
the week wraps. So,
I know.
it's crazy energy and it's going to be off the charts and we're super excited about it. But there's a lot, you know, there is a lot of that practice, a lot of that intention, a lot of that talking with our team, with our spirit team, and a heck of a lot of ritual going on to make sure that we're like continually having those conversations and checking in
Yeah,
because that is what keeps us grounded, protected, as well as a little sanity check, right? Okay,
for
that
real.
noise was for me, right? That ha 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 I just heard in the corner, that was for me, right? Okay, just checking, just checking.
Right. Well, and the more, because again, on my 21 day journey, my manifestation in week 3 was the seeing, hearing, feeling.
Yeah.
And the more I hear now, the more I'm like, I'm not sure I'm ready for this. But the thing is it wouldn't have been put in my path unless I was, because, that's my spirit team.
Yep.
But you hear words and you're like, did I just make that up or did I actually hear that?
Uh-huh.
And then you get like a chill and it's like, okay, I understand.
Yep.
That was for
Check.
me. I heard.
Yep. And I do have to sit with that. That's one of those things, folks, that as you're training yourself and you're coming into all those different clairs and really thinking about it, sometimes you do have to sit and take a moment to go, do I just know that? Do I feel
Where
like
did
I
I get that?
saw it? Did I feel like it flashed it? Like there are times I will hear the word green. Other times I will see the color green. Otherwise, I will see the word spelled out in front of me.
Hmm.
Um, Other times I just know by looking at somebody. And for me, green is around empath and is around your heart chakra and all of that. So
Right.
you have to sit with that and kind of go, okay, how did I get it? And don't, break the bank, so to speak, trying to figure it out because you'll overanalyze yourself to death. If it doesn't
Yeah.
come to you right away, don't just move on. Just write it down, acknowledge it, say thank you, and move on. But
Yep.
as you work with it, because that's where your strong clairs are, right? That's where you start recognizing, oh, okay, clairaudience is a good thing for me. Clairvoyance is good for me. Just knowing what those are will help empower you with how you hear things from your guides as well.
And if you don't think you hear anything, I would bet because so many people have clairgustance, which is the taste, and they don't even realize that that is
A
a message, or
Yeah.
they're just like, oh, I just really want spaghetti, or I really just want pizza, or I want a hamburger. But that, like, there could be something more to it. So, I mean, don't just, it's not every time. I'm not saying every time you
Right.
get a taste in your mouth that it's a message. But when you do, kind of sit with it and be like, does this mean something else?
Right.
Because
Does
lots
it
of people
does it
are.
take you to a memory or something that is a trigger? I mean, is it a dictionary item for you, like Natalie was
Right.
talking about earlier, where it's telling you something and referencing something from the past or from the future that you need to just kind of sit with? There's so many different, all the senses are active and heightened, and acknowledging that and sitting with it and just being able to own that is huge and powerful. And that's your guides. That's your guides, that's your higher self, that's spirit, source, God, tapping you on the shoulder to say, are bonk, knocking the microphone around. Are you paying attention? Are you listening? Are you seeing? Are you hearing? Are you tasting? Are you smelling? Or do you just know? You just know.
Right.
And
Exactly.
every single one of those has a certain amount of power to it, right?
Yep. I totally agree. Totally
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. Anyway, that was just kind of a tip of the day thing, but I think we wrapped. Did we get everything we wanted to talk about in our daily? I know we didn't talk about like some guidance for meditation, but then we kind of wanted to briefly talk about that. But there's so many different ways to do meditation.
Well, we could just go through the list, but don't forget to gratitude at night when your feet leave the
Oh,
floor
yes, yes, yes.
and say your word activation if you use it for your protection at night, which is a fully different team for me.
Mhm.
So I tell them I'm sleep or bedtime. Both of them have been activated for I actually have a boundary when I'm laying horizontal.
Yeah.
No one's allowed to touch me. No one's allowed to scream in my ear.
Yep.
Like They can tap stuff in the room. They can be outside of my personal bubble.
Right.
Most of the time I extend it past the house because, opening up has kind of opened the house up and mom and my kid don't really love it.
Right. They're like this.
They're like, "This is a little scary. Can you
Right.
please, can
There's
you
stuff
please not
hanging
do
on the
this?
wall over here. What's the shadow in my room and
Can
why?
you clean my room because
Yeah.
something's going on in there?" I'm like, "Okay, I'm sorry."
Right. Sorry, we're coming with the sage and they're just coming to be crossed over. It's not that we don't
Yeah.
work on it and try and call them into our homes. We do know better than
No,
that
no, no.
thing. But as psychic mediums, and Natalie's particularly open in that area, they will naturally find her to help with crossing. So it's not that we are sitting doing seances or playing with Ouija boards or something like that in
No.
our homes and inviting those things in. Let's just be
Yeah,
clear
they both
about that.
have the rules. Like now they'll just say out loud, "She's upstairs."
Yes.
So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So I think, kind of just to kind of close this out, we'll give a couple of things around meditation because the meditative part is hard for people to wrap around,
Mhm.
and people assume that meditation means om and you sit in lotus style and you have to be in a certain space and there's incense
Some do, yeah.
burning and you got to be on a pillow and everything's got to be just right. And that's crap. It's not true. You can be sitting at your desk in a very busy work environment, put your earbuds in so no one hears, you don't hear them and it's kind of tuned out for a minute.
Mhm.
Close your eyes for a few minutes and talk to your spirit guides. That's it. That's it. It's being mindful. It is, even if you're chanting a mantra in your head or saying a word over and over again, maybe you're just humming lightly. Maybe in those earbuds, you've got one of the beautiful Hertz sounds playing, right? A good 741 or something Hertz that's just playing for you and it's just kind of gentle. For all they know, you're listening to rock and roll and you've just got your eyes closed for a little bit. So,
Yeah, or even like doing a quick body scan or clearing your chakras and your energy.
yes,
Just taking a couple
absolutely.
minutes.
Absolutely. The benefits are outrageous just in how it helps you align and recognize to be grateful in that moment, to just sit with it, that everything else shall pass, moving on, right? Um, and then it's going to enhance your growth with spirit and your team. The
For
spirit
real.
growth is just because pretty soon you're doing that and you're taking that time for you and acknowledging that space and acknowledging a little bit of self-love. That is going to be critical for your team to be like, oh, okay, we got him or her. They're in a position right now, by the way, and they'll just pop through potentially with a message for you. Um,
Mhm.
what else? Clarity and focus.
Yeah, clarity. Yeah, it's really about you learning how to be mindful. And
Hmm.
if you take meditation for yourself and just take that time, you'll be surprised how mindful you'll become of like your entire environment when you're not even meditating.
Oh,
It's really good for people.
yeah, I agree. And there's certain times throughout the day that I'll even go, I mean, that's the benefit of working from home, I have no doubt. But I will play certain frequencies. Most of the time I'm a
Mhm.
classic rock girl. Other times I'm like, we could use a little 96, what is it, 963, 936. What's the crown frequency? I can't remember. I'd have to
Okay.
look it up. Or 741 or
Yeah,
528. But
741s I use a lot. Yeah.
yes, and it's playing on Alexa, and she'll probably pipe in now, but playing on her in the kitchen, and the dogs nap, and I'm chill. Work can
Yep.
blow up, and I'm like, yeah, that's
The
great.
incense is burning. Everything is kind of right with
Yeah,
the
life's
world.
kind of good, whatever. So it does. It brings all of your emotions, all of your everything just aligns easier. You feel a little more confident when you take those few minutes for yourself. If you have the benefit of taking 30 minutes and really sitting and seeing what comes through, do it. Do it
Yeah.
because you will see there are so many wonderful guided meditations out there as well to walk you through different journeys and different paths so that you find
Mhm.
a place that works for you so that those images and thoughts and all the clairs can kind of kick up a notch and you can sit with that in your spirit team and see what you're supposed to know. But if you've only got 5 minutes, close your eyes and listen listen to your heartbeat if you can't even listen to music. Just listen to, for me, it's the ringing in my left ear.
Or
Listen
your
to,
breath.
or your breath, your breathing, and just count on your breathing. And if you're just counting in and out, That's methodical, right? It becomes very much like a metronome where it's very consistent beat. That's a ritual, right? You're getting into a pattern and setting that ritual so that you're setting your intention to talk to your guides. Um,
Speaking of consistent, be consistent because the more consistent you are, the more your team will learn about your consistency and the easier it is for them to find time to communicate with you.
yeah,
So being consistent in meditation, and also it's really good for your emotional well-being.
yeah,
Yeah. And spiritual well-being.
for sure. Yep. How do we integrate it? I think we talked about one way for work, right? Just sit and close your eyes. It's doing that. And you mentioned consistency. Um,
Having a space. So if not at work, like if you can dedicate a space, so when you're in that space, it just kind of gets you in the zone,
right.
makes meditation easy. That's a good way to integrate it.
It's
Um,
difficult though, and we get that. Like I'm going through total renovation kind of remodel stuff here that we're doing this DIY. So there is no particular spot that I feel completely oof in,
meditative space.
but you can make it that way.
Yep,
So it could be your recliner in your living room or a couch.
for
You
sure.
take that spot, and if you can take your favorite scent, incense candle, whatever, your favorite background noise, whatever, sit with it. Just sit with it and just be in
Yes,
that
then
moment.
be quiet.
And then
That's
be
all.
quiet.
Hmm.
I actually do that, people, once in a while. I know it doesn't sound like it on here, but I swear to you.
Yeah, both of us are quiet people. No, she's not at all.
I am when I'm meditating.
No, yeah, I know. I'm teasing. She's
Anyway.
my sister. That's what I'm supposed to do. That's what I'm supposed to do.
Awesome. I think we've covered everything that we wanted to talk about, except for
I
reminding
think
everybody
so.
that we are, what's that?
Did I think so? Sorry.
Oh, no, my bad. There's that talkie. Uh, just to remind everybody, though, we think we've mentioned it 100 times. We are Immersive Spirit is going to be in California. So Queen Mary investigation, uh, and the Biltmore Hotel in California. Very exciting stuff. It's I got chills on my left side. It's going to be a super, super trip. We're looking forward to see what we get. Yeah, just
Well,
stay tuned.
on top of that, go check out our freebies. Like all of the stuff we talked
Oh my
about today,
gosh.
it totally is
No commitment. You don't have to
and
be.
nothing, no commitment to us, no money to us, no, it's just content that we've put out because we think it's super helpful in how you
Yes.
can live your life.
Yep. One is called Moonlight Magic, and that's that lunar intention, right? So setting up that intentional word during your lunar cycles, and we're at the quarter moon right now, so we're a quarter way through, right? So I did a check-in on mine today. Um, then the other one is the 21 day journey, which is all about setting yourself up for that 21 day and what Natalie was talking about, right? With your words, your activation words, and just getting into better ritualistic patterns for yourself to set yourself up for success because it's 21 days to create that pattern and that's why it works. It's
And
amazing.
whether that's spiritual connection that you want to get to, or whether you just want to reset on how
Mhm.
you approach your life right now.
Absolutely. And the 21
Yeah.
day comes with membership opportunities. We have a private group just dedicated to our 21 day
Mhm.
journey people. So you can be included in that group as a member and go from there.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. And membership to Immersive Spirit is free. We just, at this time, right? As for now, um, we just ask, of course, that you acknowledge our little rules when you're out there. So, but check us out, immersivespirit.com. Make sure to go to course offerings. You will find all the details about both the 21 day journey and about the Moonlight Magic for harnessing your lunar intentions. Both are free, and we would love for you to come in and be a part of those conversations on our community as well. Stay tuned. We will be bringing California in full force in our next conversation. So obviously we won't probably have the video content and everything ready yet, but there will definitely be some conversation pieces happening.
And we'll try to stay live on social too. We'll figure it out. This is
Yeah,
we've done a ton of investigations. This is the first time like we're allowing
kind of a
like
follow,
like we're releasing it for anybody else to see. So
right, that we're putting it on
gonna be a
social at the same
mess,
time.
but it's
It'll
gonna
be,
be lovely.
yeah, it'll be a hot mess. It'll be fun. Fun, fun, fun. So stay tuned. It'll be out on social. And then we'll be sharing all the details about it. And it's a perfect way to ramp up for the Halloween season.
For
Thinning of the
sure.
veils. Woo!
And the full moon.
And the full moon. Yay! Yay, yay. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining. I'm Stephanie with Immersive Spirit.
And I'm Natalie.
Have a great rest of your day, and we will talk to you again next week. From high heels to happy feels. Talk to you soon.